Alright, everybody, this is RetroKid Reviews. We got Brandon here with his spoilers review of The Last Jedi. I'm going to be on my perspective on Stardust for the non-spoilers review, so Jack, give it away.
Yes. Let us talk now about Star Wars The Last Jedi, as I've waited a week and a half for people to see it, so I don't get death threats like I did the last time, where I only waited a week and everybody was like, why'd you tell everyone Han Solo died? At this point, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this taking apart of it, because let me start by saying Rian Johnson is a fantastic filmmaker. I love his films. Brick and Looper are great. But before the movie came out, I said Rian Johnson doesn't feel like a good fit for the Star Wars franchise, and I was right. His film is very weird. Not like weird as in, oh, it was just too original to be part of. Like, he did something original. It just, for me, it was more of a mess than just an original undertaking of the plot. Now let's get into the neat details. This movie starts out with some pretty great humor. I actually enjoyed the prank call between Poe and Hux in the beginning of the film during the fight. I thought that was like a nice break, and it was a good thing for his character, because they showed in the last film between him and Kylo Ren, like, who talks first? I talk first, you talk first? Like, that was part of his character, so I was okay with that. And then we get to the moment we've all been waiting for. Luke being handed his lightsaber that was lost on Vespin, right?
Yeah.
That's the name of the planet. I can never get it right if it's Vespa or Vespin.
I have trouble with prequels playing.
The Cloud City. He lost his lightsaber during the fight with Darth Vader after he lost his hand in Cloud City, and now he's being handed it back. And instead of being like, where did you get this? He looks at Rey, looks back down, looks at Rey, and then tosses it over his shoulder. And I thought that was kind of like, one of my big problems with Ryan in this movie is he basically took everything that JJ did and was just like, nope, fuck you, and got rid of it, which we'll get to more so later. So we have this whole thing. Luke is refusing to train Rey. He's refusing to even talk to her. And we have about 3 days of this with their plot line. And then so the Rebel Alliance is getting away from the First Order. The First Order, it finally does not have a giant space station to blow up planets. They have a giant ship that can blow up bases. We're moving along in the right direction. We're getting away from space stations.
We're downsizing a little, basically.
No, but I like the Dreadnought. I like the whole cat and mouse game that they had, because it was different, and it was boring. Man, it just took way too much time. That whole, let's keep them in range of our, let's keep away from their long-firing missiles so that they can't really damage our ships, but their ships got damaged anyway, because by the end there was only one ship left, and they had to evacuate so that Laura Dern could hero the moment.
Well, speaking of, your thoughts on the casino scene?
Fuck the whole casino. Finn and first of all, fuck Finn and Rose. That whole plot line was stupid, forced. I'm all about, more diversity in film. So let's add an Asian American character. Let's add Benicio del Toro, who is great. Benicio is great in this movie.
Yeah.
Unneeded, but great.
Yeah, I want to sidetrack a little. I'm okay with what he did Sicario. I watched the trailer to the sequel, and I tried to tell you this at work. They do a finger gun shooting? Yeah, get the fire strike out, and I'll show you. You know the trick you do in Time Crisis?
No.
Oh, it's like you use your opposite hand to cheat the game a little. A card to the trailer, by the way, in case anyone wants to know.
But anyway, back to Star Wars, because that's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So, Porgs. Porgs are awesome. Don't listen to people. They didn't ruin this movie. Porgs are actually one of the best parts of this movie, because the scene where Chewie is about to eat one, and they're all looking at him like, That was so fantastic.
Yeah, well, at least Chewie had the right idea to do with porks, like everyone in the audience, so I'll give you that.
But let's get to a bad... Like, so I feel like I'm going to give you a good thing, and then I'm going to give you a bad thing about this movie. Because that's what this movie is. It's split down the middle of really good moments, and then a few bad moments that were really bad, in my opinion. So we have the porgs, which are awesome. I loved everything to do with the porgs. They were cute. I want a porg now.
So what, like, you know it's gonna be like a pog, not a pog. It's gonna be like it's gonna be on a fucking hot topic like the next 20 minutes.
Anyway, so a bad thing. Leia using the Force. Okay, so let's just get into it, right? So Kylo Ren is about to attack his mother, and this is the moment we all thought was gonna happen. We all knew Carrie Fisher died in real life, so we were wondering if they were gonna offer in this movie.
Yeah, and they pulled like a tease kind of thing to the trailers, like you were like against the little one.
Yeah, like the audience was right, but you weren't. So Kylo's getting ready to shoot. He has a twist to the light side, and then 2 TIE fighters come in behind him and take it out. And then there's this big brush of air. Then the deck is taken out, and she gets sucked out into space. And then they cut back to the First Order. And then they cut back to Leia, who's still freezing in space, who holds out her hand, and Mary Poppins her way.
Or, what's that, stupid superstar, fucking... Damn it.
It looks ridiculous. So
Yeah,
she holds out her arm and just goes... and zooms towards the ship into safety where she survives. If that isn't the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie, I don't know what is.
To be fair, if Carrie Fisher was alive, she would have said, just get the fuck over it. If she was still alive, she would have defended it a little.
So let's keep getting into it. Alright, so now a good thing. Poe Dameron. Poe is the greatest part of this movie. That whole thing with Laura Dern where he called her a traitor, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, what are they going to do now? And then the bad thing. Forced Skype calls.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Not that it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is Rey and Kylo Ren start having these things where they can talk to each other and they're in the same space and they can see each other but they can't see anything else. And it's weird because they take no time to explain it. Mm-hmm. It just starts happening. And then you learn at the end that it was all Snoke. And spoiler alert, your Snoke theories suck because what they did with him is a travesty.
Yeah.
To the plot. So here's a good thing: the fight between Kylo Ren and the guards. That is one of the most visually stunning things I've ever seen on camera with a lightsaber.
I saw it at my local cinema with like the leg rest seats like this. And it was great. It was great seeing it. I was front row, didn't care. It was great. I didn't have 3D. It was beautiful.
Yeah, don't see this movie in 3D. It's better in standard. So
it gets. I mean, we talk about the price of that. It's Star Wars. It's gonna get its money back regardless if it's 3D or not. Honestly.
So then we have it. The reason the fight happens though is because Kylo Ren kills Snoke, and you don't learn anything about Snoke. Mm-hmm. He was just, in the end, he was just another Palpatine. And for me, that was a huge thing, because I wanted something crazy, like he was the start of the Jedi Order or something that survived. And nope, he was just another dude with some powers that was like, hey, I can rule the galaxy too. So now we end the movie with Kylo Ren as the supreme leader, and Hux is his number 2. Rey is off. You know, she completed her Jedi training in 3 lessons. Isn't that crazy?
Wasn't that like Luke with Yoda a little on Return?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not by much, obviously, but...
Oh, no. Well, no. Luke trained for years. Mm-hmm. Honing his skills, but apparently Rey could do it in 3 lessons.
Oh, yeah, because he was training an Empire going into... Yeah, you're right.
And, spoiler alert, Luke dies. And it was pathetic. Luke should have gone out in a blaze of glory. That's what I mean, again, this is all subjective, but I've been a Star Wars fan since, like, 93, 94. the first time I saw the films. So seeing Luke go out like a bitch was really, really hard for me. He does. Oh god, it was just bad.
Yeah, I'm a fan since around that same like timeline too, and I actually slept through the special editions when they're coming out in theaters. Did you see any of those?
The special editions, yeah, they're garbage.
Oh yeah, they're garbage now, but back then there was still some vague hope of it. Just having it in theaters was a cool idea, regardless.
But the way they treated Luke's going was very, very trashy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do justice to his character. So we end the movie with, oh, and Phasma died out of nowhere.
Yeah, but it's like I don't want to say it's like a...
Again, this was Ryan just being like, fuck you, JJ, and he just got rid of everything that JJ set up.
Yeah, and like what you and I said coming into this review is like the minute JJ gets episode 9, he's just going to clean all that shit up.
Yeah, he's going to be like, haha, Ryan, I'm in charge again.
Alright, so if you had a rating to rate it,
out of
10 or...
Can I give... Alright, so I've been really harsh on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing, and I saved it for the last. Ryan Johnson brought back Yoda.
And not just like CG Yoda, like...
They brought back Frank Oz doing the puppet. It made me cry.
Oh yeah, but it cried for you. I got caught off guard thinking it was just a CG conversion kind of deal.
I was a little kid again watching Luke on Dagobah training.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of 10, I give this movie a 6.5 because I think under a different director with a better script, it would have been as good as The Force Awakens, if not better.
All right.
For right now, since a new Star Wars movie has come out, I have to redo my list for the best Star Wars movies in order. Still goes Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, Episode 4, Episode 6, Force Awakens, Episode 3, and then I do Last Jedi. Episode 1, Episode 2 never really existed, so...
I don't really have much of a structure there.
There's too many other good Star Wars movies for me to put this in my top for it. I did not really enjoy what Ryan Johnson did.
Yeah.
I see his vision. I see what he wanted to do. I just don't think it worked in Star Wars. I think what he did to Luke's character was terrible. I hated the way Luke was in this movie. See, if he would have been more like Obi-Wan, like, yeah, Rey, we have to go save the world right now, I would have been cooler with it. But nah, I don't like bitter old Luke. Unless it would have been like only for a few moments in the beginning, and then he got his act together.
For like Han and everybody. Yeah.
He did not change until like you see him on the rock meditating his Force persona on wherever they were, the Salt Moon. And for me, that was terrible. I hated the treatment of Luke in this film. It almost was like Disney saying, fuck you, Mark Hamill, for saying so many bad things about this movie before it came out.
Yeah.
But it looks like he was right because I agree with everything he said.
All right.
You know? But 6.5 out of 10. That's my review for Last Jedi.
I'm not going to match you. I'm going to make it a 7. You're right on a lot of things, but in my opinion, it's still better than the prequels, and that's just, a given at this point.
Well, no, I put it above... Well, I mean, 3 was a great movie, so...
Yeah, because it put it to bed, honestly.
I put it in front of 1 and 2.
Alright.
But, I mean, it doesn't beat the old trilogy. It didn't beat Rogue One. Rogue One is the second best Star Wars film after Empire.
Alright. That's our review. Go to my face to subscribe to your channel. Go to Brandon's here to see what's going on here on the previous video. And follow me on the Stardust app for my non-spoiler review if you guys didn't want a lengthy explanation like you guys are seeing here. I highly recommend the app. And with that said, I'm RetroKid Reviews, and that is Brandon Jack on texting. So take care, guys, and see you next week. All right. Oh, there's my feet.